it's Tony Marino, host of the super popular NEWSMAX Daily Podcast, a rundown of the day's top headlines and top highlights of NEWSMAX shows and interviews you may have missed, plus some sports, stock markets, and even some yucks, all packed into about 20 minutes. Search for the NEWSMAX Daily with me, Tony Marino, on your favorite podcast platform, and check out our entire lineup of great podcasts, including Greg Kelly, Rob Carson, and Jerry Callahan at newsmax.com/listen.
You are about to hear the most interesting, informative, thought-provoking, and funny show in America. On air and on the World Wide Web. This is the Rob Carson Show.
This is the Rob Carson Show. It's Tuesday. Frequently called Taco Tuesday, by the way. I used to do that with my family. I do Taco Tuesday because you know what? Tacos are just amazing. And anyway, and also I might mention this, all signs that it could be the apocalypse, the Rapture Tuesday. Could be Rapture Tuesday today, just in case you wanted to know. This, according to a lot of people on online saying that widespread fear has been building that an ancient biblical event where countless Christians disappear from Earth is just hours away. I'm still here. Hello? I'm right here. I'm ready. The phenomenon dubbed Rapture Talk is going on. Instead of TikTok, it's Rapture Talk. Has exploded in recent weeks after faith leaders started pushing the idea that the rapture will begin on September 23rd, marking the second coming of Jesus and a judgment day for the non-believers. You know, I'm ready. I got a few things I'd like to, do. I mean, the show's kind of going well. We're broadcasting on NEWSMAX, not only on Rumble and Facebook and X, but we're on YouTube today. Oh my goodness, we're on YouTube today, and we're on Instagram on NEWSMAX. Maybe it is the rapture. Maybe hell's freezing over, is why I'm. It's just anyway. Sorry. Back to although the Bible never set a date for the world-changing event, and Christians have been actively discouraged from attempting to set dates for the rapture throughout history, including a sign down on the. We've got these guys in traffic forever holding up these signs in traffic saying Jesus is coming, and all of that. He's bringing his lawyers and all that. You see that forever. The end is nigh, and all that's been going on forever. Been going on forever, but anyway, the signature signs, I guess it's going to happen today. I don't know. Others have been claiming they've had visions or experiences, strange coincidences involving the number 923 in their daily routine. Okay, this numerology bullcrap is like, really? No. And I don't believe in the zodiac either. It's nice to know that I'm a, Libra, Scorpio cusp leaning into the Scorpio, but come on. I also don't believe fortune cookies. I know that's weird. It's weird. Others have been claiming they've had visions, like I said. Some Rapture Talk videos have received tens of thousands of views, including one where a man kept repeating, saying, Jesus is coming, next to the caption, these are the last days. It's been watched 488,000 times. So even respected pastors and rabbis pointed out other signs that the rapture could be nearing, including aligning with the Jewish Feast of Trumpets and certain star constellations converging. With some interpreted as fulfilling biblical prophecies. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on. There's a worldwide movement toward good, and it's been accelerated by the martyrdom of Charlie Kirk. You suppose maybe that's part of it? I don't know. And what I like to think is that we maybe help stop the end of the world. That we're helping to stop the end of the world. With this worldwide turn back to good, away from evil, But the left are screaming really loud, all sorts of nonsense. And guess what? The loudest voices are the least heard. You get worried about all these people screaming, hey, Donald Trump is this and Donald Trump's the fastest and all that. The loudest voices are the least heard. Those who say that Donald Trump is a communist and a fascist, the loudest voices are the least heard. Tony Kennett the other day said, an empty truck makes a lot more noise than a full one. So there's some of that going on. Anyway, that's going on. Could happen. I don't know. What time? At 9:23 tonight is what I'm thinking is the next time it's going to happen. So I'd be ready for 9:23 tonight. You might want to check your local listenings. Is that when Jimmy Kimmel goes back on air? Is it on 9:23 tonight? No, it's a little early. Central or Eastern time. But there you go. We don't. Oh, and Jimmy Kimmel's going to be back on TV tonight. Oh my God, what a big victory for free speech. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. I didn't want Jimmy Kimmel to be kicked off television. You know why? Because I don't care. He did do something when he said that the MAGA supporters, the killer of Charlie Kirk was a MAGA supporter. That was a lie. It was a lie. And by the way, it had no business being on late night television. And late night television has become, to several people, Stephen Colbert and Jimmy Kimmel, just an editorial statement about their leftist political views. And so they've had years of doing this, and their ratings are terrible. They destroyed late night television, and ABC finally looks at this last straw and says, let's get rid of them. The left goes ape crap and then decides to blame Donald Trump for it. They were calling Donald Trump a fascist and Charlie Kirk a fascist, and ultimately Donald Trump, they almost killed him twice, and then they killed Charlie Kirk, and there was the word fascist on the shell casing. And then they decided they're going to turn down the temperature last week, and then along comes Jimmy Kimmel. Donald Trump had nothing to do with his removal from the air. He just took a 6-day vacation, and they decided to use that as an excuse to turn the temperature back up, the same damn language that has caused so much violence. Elon Musk is a fascist. Really? Is he still a fascist? Why aren't you still burning his Tesla dealerships? Or maybe you're just idiot sheep who, just follow your marching orders no matter what the left says and what the liberal media says. Honestly, you people need a mental health checkup, for God's sakes. This is just amazing. Oh, and then some good news. Are you ready for some good news? This is last night at the University of Minnesota. Charlie. Yeah. I used to live in Minneapolis. Minneapolis has become a hellhole because of the mayor of Minneapolis, the politics of Minneapolis, the what they call the Democrat Farmers and Laborers Party with a hammer and sickle as their emblem, and of course the awful governorship of Tim Walz. And then the University of Minnesota is as left as left can be. That's pretty amazing. You want to hear some cool, when you're worried about it, and listen, nobody's going to fill Charlie Kirk's shoes. It's like nobody's going to fill Rush Limbaugh's shoes. I walk in his footsteps, but I will never fill his shoes. And so there aren't people who are going to, there's not one person that's going to fill his shoes, but there might be a bunch of them who can come close or at least, keep it going. And one of those people is Michael Knowles. Michael Knowles was scheduled to be at the University of Minnesota last night with Charlie Kirk. And Michael Knowles was there last night, and he was being asked about the censorship of Jimmy Kimmel. Here it is. Here's his response.
Silencing people for saying lies. What is a lie? What is truth?
A lie is the opposite of the truth. And what is truth is what Pontius Pilate asked to Christ before he sentenced him to the cross. It's the line of a cynic that surrenders his reason.
He never said anything untrue. He was quoting the governor of Utah who said this person didn't come
Jimmy Kimmel never said anything untrue?
From a different country.
Jimmy Kimmel never said anything. Jimmy Kimmel said that the shooter was a MAGA Republican, and that's a lie. There's no evidence.
One of us, and he quoted by Republicans. Look, we can debate on what.
We don't have to debate. It's a lie. It's an obvious and egregious lie. We don't need to pretend that this is complicated at all. The shooter was a radical left-wing activist who inscribed Antifa slogans on the bullets and was dating a trans furry boyfriend. I don't think he voted for Trump. Kimmel lied. The audience turned on him. The affiliates turned on him. He deserves to lose his job. I'm frankly disappointed that he's getting his job again, but I'm confident even fewer people will watch it this time.
There you go. That's Michael Knowles filling the shoes or doing his level best, by the way. Kimmel is returning to TV, but Nexstar is not going to have him tonight, and Sinclair is not going to invite him back on tonight. So, I don't even care. I never have cared if he's on television or not. I don't choose to watch him because he's an insult to late night television. There you go. You want to hear some other big news? You want to talk about censorship? You want to hear where the real censorship has happened on social media? I just found out today that I might be able to get my YouTube account restored that they took down because I put up a truthful video with RFK Jr. in it about the vaccines. Google on Tuesday promised to restore YouTube accounts that have been banned for political speech, admitting that the Biden administration pressured it to censor Americans that did not violate the company's terms of service. Yeah, did you hear that? Holy hell. This is according to Judiciary Committee Chairman Jim Jordan. I haven't been able to make a damn dime on YouTube. I was taken down. My Facebook page disappeared the day after the election. You want to talk about censorship, Jimmy Kimmel? Why don't you freaking listen to the millions of conservatives that had every one of their viewpoints declared misinformation and disinformation? Who give a rat's behind if you can't deliver left-wing jokes and entertain left-wing audiences? Reflecting on the company's commitment to free expression, YouTube will provide an opportunity for all creators to rejoin the platform if the company terminated their channels for repeated violations of COVID-19 and elections integrity policies no longer in effect. Seb Gorka's going to be able to get back on. Steve Bannon's going to get back on. Dan Bongino's going to be on. YouTube had banned that's kind of hard to say, banned Bongino, who moved to alternative video streaming platforms. Rumble created it, actually, over alleged spreading misinformation about masks, which don't work, by the way. Google then admitted that the Biden administration pressured the big tech company to remove alleged misinformation. Oh, they also bent over and took it, by the way, just like old Mark Zuckerberg. Senior Biden administration officials, including White House officials, conducted repeated and sustained outreach to Alphabet and pressed the company regarding user-generated content related to the COVID-19 pandemic that did not violate the policies. Unbelievable. Sorry, there you go. There's your censorship. While we're focusing on a jackweed who isn't really that funny and is destroyed late night, the big news is that YouTube's finally going to allow people to actually have a channel when they were telling the truth. I mean, really? It's kind of a big deal, right? Yeah, it's kind of a big deal. Oh, by the way, this is what Jimmy Kimmel said, in case you were wondering.
We hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it.
Yeah, okay, and that was the lie. That was the lie. Here's what Bill O'Reilly had to say about Jimmy Kimmel.
You talk about no freedom of speech and expression. Yeah, that story has been totally ignored, and it's not just ABC. It was CBS, NBC, MS, and CNN.
He's going to talk now about conservative apartheid, which I've been talking about for years.
Okay? They will not put any non-liberal voice on the air, and I know that because I'm in this midst of marketing confronting evil.
Yeah.
And before Trump entered the political arena, I got on those shows routinely because I bring high ratings to the shows, and the books are number ones. But the point is, and this is such an important point, this whole freedom of speech BS is coming from the far left to make Kimmel a victim and to make Trump a villain.
Yes.
When for 10 years they have banished all traditional conservative thought and discourse on all of their programs.
I would say they put the pedal to the metal on it in the last 10 years, but it's been going on for over 30. There you go. Let's take a break and come back, shall we? This is the Rob Carson Show.
He's got these magical doctors who claim that he was shot in the ear, but his ear, I guess, grew back.
Joy Reid is a nutcase. Says I wasn't shot. That's why she doesn't have a job. 'Cause brain she hasn't got. Common sense she hasn't got. Joy Reid's insane. Her opinions are inane. Now she is unemployed as she should be. Joy for you and me. If I ran MSNBC, this is what I'd do. I tell Joe and Mika to hit the road, and I'd can Mad Cow too. Joy Reid is a nut. She's out on her butt. Me in the White House made her lose her mind. With hatred, she is blind. I love to end a war. How about you? I'm gonna end some more. you know it's true. India, Pakistan are at peace now. No war in Thailand, ceasefire in Iran. I'll take a bow. Rwanda and Congo ended their fight. And in Armenia, I made it right. Next up will be Ukraine, been a financial drain. Not anymore. Oh, how I love ending a war.
Drugs transported by boat. Venezuela, you best take note. Cartels, they're having fits 'cause they're men. They were blown to bits. The drug boat, it now resides on the ocean floor. The drug boat, Marco says we're gonna take out more. Yes, their lives are in danger if they take another chance. 'Cause drugs, we won't tolerate. Shut it down before it's too late. No drugs. A boat that was filled with drugs.
The Rob Carson Show podcast is everywhere. Go to newsmax.com/listen for details.
When the government says, I'm not pleased with you, so we're going to orchestrate a way to silence you, it's the wrong direction for our country.
So you know, no one silences us, but the government cannot.
She's speaking very deliberately to sound intelligence, and it doesn't work.
Cannot apply pressure to force someone to be silenced.
Huh. That's what they did to us on all social media. That's what Jimmy Kimmel's doing to all conservative guests on his show. Same goes with Stephen Colbert.
Look, Jimmy Kimmel suffers from two things. First of all, he said a terrible thing about Charlie, but he also suffers from the fact that he's got no talent and he's got no rating.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, who cares? I really don't give a flying rip about Jimmy Kimmel going back on television. Yeehaw, yippee skippy. Nobody watched him before, honestly. Why make him some sort? It's amazing. We have a real martyr of free speech in Charlie Kirk, who's now in the ground, and then they're trying to make Jimmy Kimmel into a martyr for free speech because he said something that was absolutely untrue and reckless on a series of TV stations that have FCC licenses. So they're a little different. They're a little different. They're a little bit different than that, you know. And then there's other way people, get silenced. For instance, when the FBI got sicked on people like TPUSA.
This information from a whistleblower, and I'm not.
This is Senator Ron Johnson.
Not holding Cash Patel accountable because he doesn't even know where all these documents are hidden. So we need people who know within these agencies that have integrity to come forward and bring this to the public's attention. But no, this is an indication that the lawfare wasn't just targeting Donald Trump. It was targeting basically half Americans.
Yeah, it's targeting traditional Catholics to shut them up. It's targeting CRT parents who didn't want that crap taught in schools.
Of America, who Joe Biden.
Oh, but Jimmy Kimmel's a big deal. Oh, yeah, well, shut up.
Biden said that if you voted for Donald Trump, you basically suspected domestic terrorists.
Yeah,
so
there you go. That's what they said.
They cast a wide net. What we don't know is what did the FBI do with this list? I mean, exactly how did they go about targeting some of these groups, which, by the way, not only included Turning Point USA, but the Republican Attorneys General Association was on this list as well.
That's far more Soviet than station owners getting together and say, Jimmy Kimmel's destroyed our audiences and we have no advertisers. We lost altogether ABC $220 million worth of advertising, 76% of the audience, down to about 1.1 million people per night. A little bit different, just a little bit different situation there. So you should know. Hey, you know what? I think I want to do. This is something we haven't done in a couple of weeks because you know what? It's been kind of the last couple of weeks have been a little hard, haven't they? Well, let's do a little bit of good news, shall we?
We love to win. Winning, so much winning. It's lots of winning, 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 lots of winning. It's so good.
Now, there are some people who think that the Democrat Party is going to take back the houses of Congress in the midterms. And I would say you keep smoking that good weed because they've given you no reason to vote for the Democrats. The Democrat Party are bat guano insane, and people are going, holy hell, there's no way I'd ever vote. They have the lowest approval rate. They're down to like 19%, just above toe fungus. All right, but there are still some people who say that, the Democrats are definitely going to win back. They can't cheat on the elections anymore. They're going after Antifa, and let me see, they're mail-in voting and all that nonsense. The liberal leftist media is dead in the water. You've got networks of people. Hell, I'm on a network right now. I'm on a network of all these NEWSMAX social media. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and X. I'm on my own network right now. Hell, I might do better than Jimmy Kimmel's rating just watching my show right here today. It's just kind of crazy. But here is all of these things will contribute to the Democrat Party not taking back the houses of Congress because they haven't learned anything from 2024. They're still doing the same crap. They're still saying that boys can become girls and compete in girl sports. They're still about open borders. They're still about sanctuary cities. How are they going to win that? Here's CNN's Harry Enton, who sounds like an old-timey baseball announcer, telling Democrats the bad news.
What do you think?
Yeah, what are we seeing? Donald Trump being underwater, Democrats saying, this guarantees us we're going to fly high.
And DiMaggio steps to the plate and waves his bat in the eye in defiance.
In the midterms, let me tell you, this guarantees you nothing, because at this particular point, the Democrats are the New Orleans Saints of political parties. What are we talking about? Trust the Dems or GOP more on the economy? Who leads on the economy? Republicans by 7.
Ding.
Immigration, Republicans by 13.
Ding.
How about crime, a big issue for Donald Trump and the Republicans? Look at that, lead by 22 points. So the bottom line is this, at this particular point, the ball may be on the ground, but the Democrats have not picked up the ball and running with it. If anything, at this particular point, it's the Republicans who are running with the ball on the top issues.
And the Democrats have no balls. So we've got the balls, and we're carrying the balls. And honestly, tell me a reason why anybody in their right mind would vote Democrat right now, other than, people usually vote for the opposing party in the midterms. Well, not if the opposing party supremely sucks. There you go. And not if the opposing party tried to destroy the country. And not if the opposing party is wrong on all of these 80-20 issues. So, honestly, take your polls with the midterms and your hopes that the Democrats are going to take back the midterms and put them in a pipe and smoke them, for lack of a better expression. There you go. That's basically it. Keep believing it. Don't stop believing. Hold on to that feeling, by the way. Jimmy Kimmel will not air on Sinclair stations and Nexstar after top ABC affiliate demanded the host apology and pay Charlie Kirk's family. They decided not to do that. So Jimmy's going to be on a whole lot fewer televisions tonight with his triumphant return to television because free speech. There you go. Coming up, we've got guests today. We got lots of guests today, including Blaine Holt, Brigadier General, Combat C-17 Commander, to talk about a number of things, including declaring Antifa a terrorist group. That is coming up. He is coming up, and this is the Rob Carson Show.
sending troops to Memphis, Tennessee. 'Cause it looks like Memphis could use some help from me. The mayor has done nothing to put criminals away. Memphis needs our help, and they need it there today. The city's run by Democrats who defunded police. They can't do their jobs or maintain the peace. I'm sending in the guard. Memphis needs it bad. Their mayor, Paul Young, that guy's really sad. Voted the most dangerous place in the USA. Wouldn't want to live there. Wouldn't want to stay. Sending in the guard. That call, it was mine. Democrats in Memphis, listen to them whine.
Of street protesters we've had our fill, but Randy Fine has a bill, says move them on over. Run them all over. Run over protesters blocking all our roads. The Thump Thump Bill is what it's called. I'm sure the left will be appalled, but move them on over. Run them all over. Step on the gas if they won't step aside. Sure, it might leave a dent, but make them a hood ornament. Run them all over. Thump them all over. If they block our streets, they'll get what they deserve.
You know, Nancy Pelosi became rich by having inside information. She made a fortune with her husband, and I think that's disgraceful.
Donald Trump is saying now that we should take a look at Pelosi's stock trades. Could Nancy be a crook? She had information on each and every trade, a case against her, and her husband could be made. Pelosi's, they make millions while they take us for a ride. Now we learn they're insider trading on the side. We'd be in the slammer if this were you or me. It's time to prosecute Paul and Nancy Pelosi, ripping us off a couple of thieves, day trading on the side.
What I do think is Nancy Pelosi should be investigated.
By the way, Keith Olbermann, who is insane. And I'm not kidding. He's insane. He's destroyed his own career. It's like alcoholism or drug abuse. You recognize it's ruining you, but you can't give it up. And Keith Olbermann, I mean, honestly, he has no career. He's joining the ranks of Joy Reid and Don Lemon and all the people. I mean, like Chuck Todd, they don't have full-time jobs anymore because they couldn't stop spewing leftist nonsense. And now Keith Olbermann appears to threaten Scott Jennings on CNN. You're next, mother bleeper. I mean, who does that? Last night I was on the TikTok, right? Because my social media presence is expanding greatly. And these little morons on TikTok, they throw stupid crap at me and call me, whatever, all these foul names. And I laugh. I make fun of them. And then they'll say, like, you're old. And I'm like, I can't do anything about age, and you can't do anything about stupid. So let's move on. Honestly, I can't do anything about age. If you think that my age and my worldly wisdom from those years is somehow a negative, I hate to tell you this, Junior. You're an idiot. All right? So there you go. And it's bizarre. And he's down with this. I just have no time for this. Just psycho behavior. Olbermann wrote Scott Jennings' now deleted ex-post. You're next, mother bleeper. Keep mugging to the camera. Scott Jennings shared screenshots of the post and tagged FBI Director Kash Patel. According to the New York Post, Olbermann was responding to a tweet from Jennings reacting to ABC reinstating late-night host Jimmy Kimmel after he's pulled off the air for offensive comments related to conservative Charlie Kirk's assassination. Aren't you glad that the left exposed its flank so we can kick its ass again? Isn't that nice to know all the people who have these deep, dark, psychotic feelings about wishing people die? Aren't you glad that there are teachers who said that on social media and celebrated the murder of somebody? Aren't you glad they're no longer teaching your kids if they got fired? I'd be pretty happy about it. It's pretty nice they're just telling us. You don't have to wait for them to do something insane or anything. They're telling you right now. Wow, I don't know, my gynecologist over here says that all conservatives should die. If I'm a conservative woman, I wouldn't be going there anymore. Now we get the fascists off real TV. That'd mean your career is next, Jennings. Send a tape to Real America's Voice. Or you can send it to NEWSMAX. I'd love to work with Scott Jennings. It'd be great. Olbermann's post came less than a week after he suggested conservative activist Charlie Kirk is burning in hell following from the assassination. Get some help, my friend. My God in heaven, get some help. Batya Unger Sargon has got a show on of her own now on a competing network. But she's my friend, and we had her on the show many, many, many times. And here she is talking about the idiocy of the left calling for unity. They called for unity after Charlie Kirk's funeral, right? Then they said that we were responsible as the left, and we need to both tone it down. And then Jimmy Kimmel gets removed from his show by the companies that carry his show, not Donald Trump. But it gave permission to once again start calling Donald Trump a fascist and start calling us fascists and Nazis, which of course resulted in the attempted assassination of Donald Trump, the sacking of our country in the summer of 2020, the sacking of the federal courthouse in Portland for months at a time, and then, of course, the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Oh, and then also some Catholic kids in Minnesota a few weeks ago.
There's a lot of calls for unity now. I love calls for unity. There's also people saying both sides are to blame. This is a problem of political violence on both sides.
No.
I want to just explain briefly why this is so offensive to people on the right to hear right now. It's because it is not true. It is asking them to bear the burden of the guilt that harmed them before Charlie's body has even been buried. They are being asked to assume half of the guilt for a crime
no freaking way
committed against their side, the likes of which there just is no parallel from right-wing violence to left. Has one Democrat come out and said, I apologize for calling Trump Hitler?
No.
Has one Democrat come out and said, I apologize for calling Charlie Kirk, hateful or spreading hate speech? Has one Democrat come out and said, I regret saying that the right are all fascists and Nazis? No. So I want to take this arm that's being held out to me in unity. But, you can ask for unity instead of revenge, and you should. You cannot ask for unity at the price of the truth.
Oh! There you go. This is why she's so good. Jeez Louise. See, this is, the conservative movement that Charlie started and his death has exploded. There are some very fine voices in that movement still. And we're marching forward, and it's going to get bigger and better than ever. That's just the way it is. Here's Kamala Harris. She's got a book, even though she's never read one. Did you know that? She's got a new book out. It's called How I Blew $2 Billion in a Supreme Suckfest of an Election, or something like that. But anyway, here she is calling Donald Trump, you're supposed to be bringing down the temperature, a communist dictator.
And right now we are dealing with, as I called him at my speech on the ellipse, a tyrant.
He's not. There's no evidence of that at all.
We used to compare the strength of our democracy to
We don't have a democracy. We're in a representative republic.
Communist dictators. That's what we're dealing with right now.
Hold on a second. Well, let's hear that again here.
We used to compare the strength of our democracy to communist dictators. That's what we're dealing with right now, Donald Trump.
I think calling half the people's speech disinformation was kind of dictatorial.
And these titans of industry are not speaking up. And perhaps it is because
Why is that?
His threats and the way he has used the weight of the federal government.
Well, how? Tell me how.
To take out vengeance on his critics is something that they fear, and I get that.
Well, that's not at all true, actually. Joe Biden, or whoever was pulling his little brain strings, sicked the FBI on like 94 conservative groups. Called Arctic Frost is what it was called. Arctic Frost is what it was called. So what you're saying there is nonsense, but that's not unusual to you, because you're a nonsensical person promoting a book that nobody's going to read. She's so stupid, she couldn't do a coffee table book. Even if they were selfies. That's how stupid Kamala Harris is. She is so stupid, she couldn't put together a coffee table book of selfies. That's how stupid she is. Oh, my God. I got to hear some comedy here. Let's do some Kimmel-related comedy from Jim Gossett.
Jimmy Kimmel is in talks today to get his show back and is in negotiations with Disney to end his suspension.
I'm hearing Kimmel may return.
Yeah, he's coming back.
How much money would he burn? Affiliates would go berserk. They might look for a new network. Don't bring him back, he's a hack. After everything he said, you'd think his career would be dead.
You would think.
If you don't keep him off the air,
he's coming back.
You're gonna prove that you don't care. Don't bring him back, he's a hack. I can't believe that ABC could ever act so foolishly.
Yeah, I know.
They lost millions on that show. Jimmy Kimmel has to go. Fire him now, you know how. How many sponsors would you lose? Has Bob Iger hit the booze?
I guess so.
They should not negotiate with a guy so filled with hate. Kimmel's a hack. Don't bring him back.
There you go. That's Jim Gossett. Jim Gossett. If you want to help him out, go to patreon.com. Jim Gossett Comedy. Patreon.com. Jim Gossett Comedy. You give him $10 a month, he'll send you 2 song parodies. He sent me 3 last night, for God's sake. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show.
Texting enrolls you into you have to understand, we're in a civilizational war between those who believe in good and evil and those who don't. Remember, these people wanted to arrest mothers speaking at school board meetings, unhappy about what was going on in their schools.
Yeah.
They called them domestic terrorists.
Yeah,
the left believes that they are so morally right, that they are so morally superior, that the ends justify their means. And what they need to understand is when they attacked Charlie Kirk, they didn't just attack Charlie and his family. They didn't just attack conservatism. They didn't just attack Republicans. They attacked the country. Because if we can't settle our political disputes with words, then we're going to have to settle them with guns. We've done that twice in our history. The American Revolution was a civil war between British subjects. The American Civil War was obviously a civil war. I don't want another one of these. But when you get the Civil War yes but caucus, that's the direction that they point us in.
Yeah, that is Representative Randy Fine talking about that. And since Charlie Kirk's assassination, this is kind of expedited, what I've said is happening and would happen after Donald Trump won the election. That is a worldwide turn toward freedom and faith, and it's happening. It's happening in France. It's happening in Great Britain, where Nigel Farage will be the prime minister, God willing, very soon. But it's happening. It's happening. It's a godly movement. Oh, by the way, in case you hadn't heard, there's a chance it could have the rapture today. So that would cancel everything, by the way. All of the things I just said, that would cancel it, but that would definitely be a rain delay, certainly. All biblical signs pointed to the rapture today, is what they're saying. The rapture talk is saying it online. They say it's something to do with the number 923. So I would say if Jimmy Kimmel goes back on television at 9:23 tonight, it'll be kind of weird. It'll get kind of weird. You know, it's kind of funny because the Democrat Party is so, the left is generally so ignorant. They had this analyst on, I should call her an analyst on MSNBC because that's where her head is. They should call all the MSNBC analysts because that's where they get their opinions. Here is somebody on MSNBC saying that Charlie Kirk's memorial service was exactly what the founding was about. She didn't even realize she said it.
What you are seeing here is a movement called Christian nationalism that merges Christianity as it's been practiced in America for, centuries with a very specific interpretation of what the founding fathers wanted. That's what the founding fathers wanted. What's the country's based on, what the Constitution is all about. So you just kind of pointed out the obvious. Aristotle wanted, going all the way back to the
Aristotle didn't found our country.
You saw Larry Arnn, who is the president of Hillsdale College and a proponent of this strain of interpretation of the Bible, merge Christianity and protecting the Western civilization values into one and the same thing.
Yeah, that's what America did, you idiot. That's what we are. You dummy! I mean, we are. This is a Christian nation. The founders were Christian. This is the way it is. Sorry, it's not Islam. There'd be a whole different set of rules, and we've already been, destroyed, whatever by now. But that's exactly. She's exactly right. That's what the rally was about.
It's a very somewhat convoluted argument.
No, it's spelled right out there in the old Constitution.
But if you distill it into the right talking points, it really hits you in the patriotic heart area, as it were.
Yeah, because it's about the country that's... Why do they have these analysts on there? My God in heaven. My God in heaven. It's just, honestly, wow. Just kind of stupid. You know what? I found something I want to share with you. Yesterday online, there were a lot of people who were talking about the highlights of the memorial service for Charlie Kirk, and one of them that really stood out was Marco Rubio. In fact, Seb Gorka, he looks like I would not mess with Seb Gorka. He said that was profound to him, to his core, and that was really, really. I'm going to tell you what, Marco Rubio's speech at the memorial service really changed a lot of minds about him. I knew he had a great sense of humor. I went to see him when he was running for president in 2016, and I thought he was good. But I'm going to tell you that something happened on the stage to Marco Rubio that changed a lot of minds.
Kirk was impactful. Impactful because of all the things I've said, but look around this place.
There's 100-something thousand people here. The President of the United States is here. His entire cabinet is here. Television outlets and media outlets from all over the world.
By the way, there are 277,000 mobile devices within earshot of the big rally, okay? And here's a little more from, this is Marco testifying.
His deep belief that we were all created, every single one of us, before the beginning of time, by the hands of the God of the universe, an all-powerful God, who loved us and created us for the purpose of living with him in eternity. But then sin entered the world and separated us from our Creator. And so God took on the form of a man and came down and lived among us. And he suffered like men. And he died like a man. But on the third day he rose unlike any mortal man. And to prove any doubters wrong, he ate with his disciples so they could see, and they touched his wounds. He didn't rise as a ghost or as a spirit, but as flesh. And then he rose to the heaven, but he promised he would return. And he will. And when he returns, because he took on that death, because he carried that cross, we were freed from the sin that separated us from him.
Every one of his words is like holy water on a vampire to the left. That's why they're freaking out. That's why they're freaking out. And a lot of people are definitely impacted by the words of Marco Rubio from this Sunday. Let's take a break and come back, shall we? This is the Rob Carson Show. All right, kids. We are on Facebook, we are on Twitter, we are on Rumble, we are on Instagram, and we're on YouTube. Let's see who's watching on YouTube. NEWSMAX on YouTube. New audience here. Bruce Radford. Hello. There you go. JTL. Angel Wings. There's Angel. I don't know who Angel Wings is, but anyway, Angel Wings is over there. So you got some different names over there. St. Huber, whoever you are, whatever. Oh, Triggs. Rob, you're not funny. IMO. Okay, sure, Triggs, whatever. Yeah, I'm only making a living doing the funny thing for, 36 years. You moron. Let's see here. Let's go over to... The Facebook, Andrew Cardero. I love it when people who don't like me say I'm not funny. Okay, you're right. I should just give it all up. Honestly, the years of making money as a comedy writer, I should just give it all back. Jeez. It's so funny. You're old. Oh, yeah, well, you're stupid. Georgia, 1901. You're brand new on the Rumbly Road. Nice to see you there, Georgia. Georgia, I've got you on my mind today. Monique in Vermont. Keith Wiz, 61. Good to see you there as well. A lot of people watching on the Twitter as well. So there you go. Andrew Cordero's on the Cordero's on Facebook, and Yolanda Martinez on there as well. Hope you're enjoying the show today. I'm enjoying the show today, even though the rapture is coming at 9:23 tonight. Apparently, we don't even know. I don't know. I don't want the rapture to happen. I think we avoided it. Actually, I think we avoided it. I think it was real close. The four horsemen were off in the distance, and it was getting a little weird there, with the world turning toward darkness. But then we beat it back. They tried to kill Donald Trump. That's when it really changed. So a lot of craziness happened. Much more coming up here. Here we go. I hate doing minutia in my life, okay? For instance, because of the divorce, I have to pay my own bills and everything. She handled she spent my money quite well, by the way, and now I've got to spend my own money, and it's a little bewildering, right? So I see, these little things that need, like this gas bill over here and all this and that. I don't want to do it right now, and I pay it right now. When you put off minutia, sometimes you're going to get in trouble. One of the things you might be putting off is investing in gold. But I'm going to tell you, if you put off investing in gold and getting in touch with Birch Gold past September the 30th, you're going to miss the opportunity to earn up to $10,000 in free metals with qualifying purchases. So, putting off your utility bill or, some little task is not that big a deal. But if you're going to miss out on this, you're going to be missing out, because gold has gone up 35% this year. It's above $3,600 an ounce. Last year was in the 2000s. It's gone up 45% since last year. September 30th is coming up, provided the rapture doesn't happen today at 9:23 p.m. But you should text Birch Gold. Just text my name, Rob, to 989898. You can claim your eligibility, get your free info kit on gold, but you got to get the ball rolling. This doesn't happen overnight. You're not just going to be able to transfer your 401k and IRA in 2 seconds. You got to talk to somebody at Birch Gold. Birch Gold is going to give you an idea where maybe you could take your money. You've got to decide where you want it. Then you got to, do what tell Birch do what you got to do. What you got to do now. So, text my name, Rob, to 989898 for Birch Gold. Text my name to Rob, 989898 for Birch Gold. I wanted to share this. This is Charlie Kirk talking about courage. Listen to this because it's remarkable.
And my question that I want to ask you is simple as this. I appreciate your message here tonight. Can you speak on courage?
Yeah.
And what it's going to take. I talk to a lot of people, a lot of pastors, a lot of leaders.
Okay. It's a great question. Courage takes no skill.
Listen.
Courage takes no training. It just takes the will. That's what's so amazing. Aristotle called it the ultimate virtue because he said without courage there are no other virtues. You think about it. There's no honesty. Wow. There's no justice. There is not even, he argued, truth without courage. Wow. It's really interesting. We are not largely a courageous country right now. We have courageous people here or there, but we could change it immediately. What is courage, if we had to define it? Courage is doing the right thing when you do not know the outcome.
Yeah.
That's it. Courage involves a mystery. A mystery of, hey, you don't know how it's going to work. No. Courage is running for office. You're like, I'm not sure if I'm going to win. Courage is stepping up and serving your country. You don't know if you're going to come back and see your loved ones.
Yeah.
That's courage. And here's the one thing I will say. We have a lot of believers and a lot of Christians here. If you are anything but courageous, then you are not a Christian.
Whoa.
And I don't say that lightly because I know that's a very serious statement.
Yeah, and you know what? We had to muster a lot of courage in the last 9 years. Donald Trump had to muster a lot of courage when he got shot in the ear, and then he decided to reappear in the same location not too long thereafter, or hold his fist to the sky and say, fight, fight, fight. I'd say that was pretty courageous, not making a joke on late night television and getting laid off for 6 days. That's not courage. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show.
No blind rhetoric.
No talking down to me.
Don't tell me how to think.
Don't tell me how to think. Don't tell me how to think.
I trust NEWSMAX. NEWSMAX.
They don't tell me how to think. They let me decide.
Real news for real people.
Hi, it's Tony Marino, host of the super popular NEWSMAX Daily Podcast, a rundown of the day's top headlines and top highlights of NEWSMAX shows and interviews you may have missed, plus some sports, stock markets, and even some yucks, all packed into about 20 minutes. Search for the NEWSMAX Daily with me, Tony Marino, on your favorite podcast platform, and check out our entire lineup of great podcasts, including Greg Kelly, Rob Carson, and Jerry Callahan at newsmax.com/listen.
right now.
You are about to hear the most interesting, informative, thought-provoking, and funny show in America. On air and on the World Wide Web. This is the Rob Carson Show.
This is the Rob Carson Show. I was incorrect earlier in the show. I said Blaine Holt was going to join us last hour. He's going to join us at the bottom of this hour. The Brigadier General Blaine Holt, to talk about a number of issues. We'll talk to him, like I said, at the bottom of the hour. It's kind of funny. The Democrat Party is all about being contrarian to Donald Trump. So, for instance, Donald Trump made Washington, D.C. safe in less than 2 weeks after federalizing the police force, working with federal officials, bringing in National Guard and all of that, made it completely safe. The Democrat Party is now terrified that Trump is going to expose their malfeasance and all the death and the murder that their policies have created in places like Chicago and Memphis next, so they're freaking out about that. Okay? And then you've got, the southern border and arresting all the illegals, and the Democrat Party is very angry. They got ICE is evil, ICE is the Gestapo, you got to stop all this. This is how the Democrat Party is. They are always contrarian, even if it means falling on the wrong side of history. And now they're saying that, and now that Donald Trump has banned and is calling Antifa a terrorist organization, which they are, they're saying that Antifa doesn't exist. Seriously, that's what they're saying. They're saying, Antifa doesn't exist. Chuck Todd said it the other day. Well, far-left radicals and anti-Israel demonstrations erupted into violence in Milan on Monday after Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni refused to follow fellow European nations into recognizing the Palestinian state. Well, they had a state, and they blew it. So screw them. And by the way, all the countries who want to recognize Palestine or a Palestinian state, do it in your countries. If you want, like France. France wants to recognize, or Canada, I don't really want Canada to do it, but honestly, do it. Put your money where your mouth is. If you want to recognize a Palestinian state, then you recognize it and create it in your own country. How about that? I'm told we have phone calls who've been waiting a while, and I want to be polite because obviously you guys want to talk about something. I want to go to Terry first in Finksburg is where he is. Terry, welcome to the show. What's on your mind today, bro? Or broette? Terry, are you there?
I guess he lost.
All right, let's go to Rick in Joppa. Rick in Joppa has been holding for a while. Rick, welcome to the show. What's up?
Hey, Rob. You know what? I just really want to congratulate you on your success, man. I started listening to you when you first came on WCBM. I also want to tell you that Greek Maria is one of my dear friends. You call her Baklava Maria, I believe.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Okay. So I
appreciate that.
Listen, man, I just want to say that the joke is on the Democrats.
Yes.
Because a Jew, Miller, a black man, Carson, a gay man, Bassett,
yes,
and an atheist, Musk, walk into a stadium that's honoring a Christian conservative white guy.
Yes.
Do you know what happened?
Just peace and love.
They listened to Christian worship music.
Yeah, I know.
They listened to Christian worship music. They took the podium.
Yeah.
And spoke on how great Charlie was.
Yeah.
They gave his wife a standing ovation.
Yeah.
They hugged each other. They cried.
Yeah.
They honored a great man. They showed unity. Hey, Democrats, we're the party of peace, acceptance, love. We respect people's private lives.
Yep.
We don't push ourselves and views on other people. We don't cancel folks.
Now, Rick, you may recall that I say that the left dies like movie vampires, screaming and scratching and clawing and trying to drag us into hell. Perfectly exemplified by their reaction to Charlie Kirk's murder, right? Am I exactly right? It shows go ahead.
I wrote this with How Great Is Our God playing in the background. I've gotten a lot of positive feedback, and I have pictures there of Miller and Carson. And
I love it, bro. Well, brilliant stuff, man.
We are so...
Go ahead.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We are so much better than they are, man.
Of course we are, and they're going to get their arses handed to them. And this is what they do. They expose their flanks so we can kick their ass. They did that when they started, tried to cover up October the 7th. The week after, they created a faux bombing. They said it was a faux hospital bombing. And what they did is they exposed all of these leftists on campuses around the country, all these anti-Semites. They exposed their flanks so we can kick their ass. That's what they've done. Now we know the people who would celebrate murder on social media are people you don't want to have working for you. Thank you for showing us you're not the kind of people we want working for us. I want to go to George in Delray Oaks. George, welcome to the show. What's up?
Yeah, Kimmel can still be charged
criminally for what he said, and I'll explain why.
Yeah, he's not going to be. Go ahead.
Okay, in his failed attempt to try to protect transgenders from disparities and predispositions to violence, he sent out a dog whistle implicating MAGA supporters of Trump to be violent against themselves, like they would kill their own leaders. I'm glad that he got back on because they're going to go out of business. The network's going to go out of business. I'm also celebrating the fact I don't use TikTok, but I'd like to get on, but I would just look like an idiot if I acted like those people about Hollywood being completely vacant. You know, they're not making movies there anymore. They're making them all overseas and other states. I listened to the Mel Gibson interview that he had with the guy from News Nation. That guy's a twerp, but it was a good interview because he was civil to Mel Gibson. But I just want to say the Attorney General or the Director of Homeland Security, Patriot Act, someone's got to charge that guy because he sent out a dog whistle endangering all of us.
Well, I understand what you're saying. It's not going to happen. Thanks for the phone call. You know, honestly, I don't even care. I don't even care. The left wants us to make this into a really big deal. They want to try to rub our face in it. There's no rubbing our face in it. We don't care. All I said was, okay, if the affiliate stations want to get rid of him because he's losing money, it's the obvious thing. And when you say something like this that offends so many, and listen, I'm all about offensive speech, but when you are on a radio or when you're on a television station, you have an FCC license, you own the public airwaves, you use the public airwaves at our leisure. That's just it, and there's got to be some limits to it. If they want to go ahead and keep him on, I wouldn't try to remove him with the FCC rules for saying. I'd say, you know what, do so at your own peril. Two of the big broadcast companies that carry ABC programming are not going to be carrying Jimmy Kimmel, so let them dance around like they think they've actually won something when they haven't, because none of us really care, and Donald Trump didn't care. Donald Trump didn't order the damned removal. It was ABC and the affiliates and all of the people watching responding saying, I want the G word or the B word off the air. That's it. And now they're making it look like Donald Trump did it. They're looking to go after Donald Trump with anything, Signalgate, all of this. And it's not going to work. It's not going to work. A, nobody gives a crap. And B, Donald Trump had nothing to do with it. There you go. No, Donald Trump didn't have anything to do with it. You can try to, and they used it again to whip up a frenzy, start calling Donald Trump a Nazi, start calling Donald Trump a fascist again, because these people cannot be dealt with. The left cannot be bargained or reasoned with. They have to be defeated. That's it. That's all. That's that. They have to be defeated. All right? And honestly, don't pay attention to them. That's one thing we can do to them. And honestly, if they want to pick a fight, I just be careful what you wish for, lefties, because you're dealing with the most well-armed intellectually and physically people in the entire history of the stinking world. So there you go. There you go. I'm trying to decide where I want to go next. I knew when to go. I want to mention this because obviously we had a big bombshell yesterday with regard to autism. There were several studies that have been spoken about. One of the major things is Tylenol should not be used during pregnancy. Now, of course, the left is immediately saying, well, in that case, maybe you ought to just crumble up Tylenol and feed it to the baby in his milk. I mean, that's how bad they're so stupid. I'm surprised they don't do that. Or say, tell women to just, make a Tylenol smoothie every day while they're pregnant because Donald Trump, all of that. But there is actually some evidence behind it. Here's Marty McCary. He's one of the physicians that Joe Biden and working with social media worked to shut down during COVID.
Well, I'll tell you, the biggest study was done by Harvard and Mount Sinai. They looked at 27 studies showing an association. There were 4 against it, and they said, based on the overwhelming body of evidence, there was a causal relationship. Those are the exact words of the dean of the Harvard School of Public Health. So there's been this growing body of evidence. We're just now bringing it to the forefront so that people know when they pop a Tylenol willy-nilly during their pregnancy, they should know most low-grade fevers don't need to be treated.
A lot of people think that Tylenol, if you drink alcohol, will wreck your liver. Tylenol, obviously is an effective medication. I don't take Tylenol. I popped an Advil yesterday. But generally, I don't use pain medication. I use, an aspirin every once in a while. I used to take an aspirin every day after I had my myocardial infarction at age 31. But not Tylenol. I'm kind of easy on the Tylenol thing. Here's Marty McCary talking about also it's not really a medicine. It's almost like a vitamin called leucovorin that could really, really help kids with autism become verbal.
Leucovorin is not a chemotherapy, but it is a vitamin given with chemotherapy sometimes. And the idea here is that the folic acid receptor in the brain is blocked by some antibody response. It might be 20, 40, 50% of kids with autism. And leucovorin will bypass that blocked receptor. And that's why so many doctors are probably seeing so much clinical improvement on kids with leucovorin.
Oh, okay. And by the way, leucovorin is very affordable. It's like 60 cents a tablet, which, probably kind of like hydroxychloroquine and hydroxychloroquine and hydroxychloroquine. What was the other one anyway? They're really super cheap, and of course the medical establishment didn't want them used during COVID because the vaccine cost a lot more. But anyway, it's cheap, and wouldn't it be amazing if it actually proved effective for kids with autism? What a gift that would be. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show.
Texting enrolls you in a recurring automated text.
Rent-free, in libs' heads I'm living. The fits I am giving to Whoopi, Sunny, and Joy. Rent-free, I'm occupying. Rosie is lying if she says I'm not in her head. Break free, they simply can't do it. When you get down to it, they have TDS real bad. Hatred, just watch it as it spreads, because inside their heads I live.
Arizona and Corona, all the lies about them they've been telling you. How did they win it? The freaking Senate, when the votes that they received were very few. Don't catch the stupid, don't buy their BS, that climate change is real, inflation's not. Don't catch the stupid, don't believe them, because distraction and diversion's all they got.
We all know that Hurricane Ian was the result of global warming.
Russian collusion led to confusion. January 6th is a smokescreen. The new Green Deal is a disguise steal, like their mandate forcing you to take vaccine. Don't catch the stupid, you just can't do it, that in women's sports men should compete. They're teaching sex ed in kindergarten. Their destructive policies we must defeat.
Like wear a mask, don't wear a mask.
Statues have fallen, it's so appalling to ignore Hunter's laptop and his theft. Don't catch the stupid, reject their nonsense. Everything is stupid on the left.
Donald Trump's election. It's the gift that keeps on giving. It's the Rob Carson Show.
And to meet the president's challenge, I ordered HHS to launch an unprecedented all-agency effort to identify all causes of autism, including toxic and pharmaceutical exposures. At President Trump's urging, NIH, FDA, CDC, and CMS are turning over every stone to identify the etiology of the autism epidemic and how patients and parents can prevent and reverse this alarming trend.
Yeah, you know why? Because the people in charge of our health have made us so freaking sick and fat. There you go. How about that? This is why we have in every grocery store a half a dozen of these electric carts to haul you around to buy your groceries, because you're too fat to walk around the store. That's your CDC and HHS. Bang up job there. Autism went from 1 in 10,000 to 1 in 30, and in California, 1 in 12 boys, and they did nothing about it. It's like they don't even care, or maybe they're being paid for and bought and paid for by Big Pharma. Yeah, that's it. That's really what it is, to be quite honest. I mean, you can't watch. I'd say, I never want to be as sick as the people who watch the nightly news. I never want to be as ill as the people who watch the nightly news. And they've gotten to the point where they've got commercials on there for stuff I've never even imagined. Imagine what you could, what really? And they're telling you got to get this medication for this disease you never heard before. That's the news. It used to be, like, hold the pickle, hold the lettuce, special order, donuts, or stuff like that. Now it's, if you've got blink, you might want to try and, a blinkety-blink with a blinkety-blink. And here are the side effects. Blink, 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 blink. Suicidal thoughts, blink, 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 blink. You might pass out while you're driving, blink, 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 and death. That's your light nightly news now. Dear Lord, honestly, a little bit ridiculous. I am told we have another call here. Pardon me. I've already misplaced the call. Who do we have on the phone there, Michelle? It's Clark in Ellicott City. Clark, welcome to the show. What's on your mind?
Hey, good afternoon, Rob.
Yeah.
It's refreshing to hear your voice.
Thank you.
I was on vacation in Ocean City, Maryland, which
nice.
I heard you talking about while I was there.
Yeah.
And that's when the very sad thing happened with Charlie Kirk.
Yeah, bro.
And then the day after that, I was having a problem with because I listened to you through the WCBM app.
Yeah.
And I had to temporarily delete that because I had to make space on my phone.
Uh-huh.
And I was unable to listen through their website. So for the last week or so, I've missed you.
No!
Which has been terrible. But I got you through TuneIn now. I'm listening to you through that.
Oh, yeah.
Which
cool.
I'll get it back originally, or eventually is what I mean to say. But I want to say, the Charlie Kirk thing has been so sad.
I know.
It's like a JFK moment in our whole generation. But I did get a lot of comfort from the memorial service on Sunday.
Oh, yeah.
As I'm sure you did, and many people did, and it was just awful. But the memorial service was beautiful. But I was going to say, as much as I listen to Charlie a lot, and of course I listen to you a lot.
Yeah.
I listen to Kim Klacik a lot in the morning, and sometimes I'll listen to Mark Levin. But I was thinking about how much Charlie was excelling at his radio show and how knowledgeable, and somebody said it at the memorial service, not only was he like a walking encyclopedia for 31 years old, but he was filled with a tremendous amount of wisdom.
Yes. Oh, yes.
And I'm just saddened every morning when I wake up and I think about him not being with us anymore. Is just...
Well, maybe that wisdom was God-given. I mean, he worked very hard. But, if you've got that kind of wisdom at 31 years old, Lord knows I didn't have it then. Maybe it was God. Maybe it was God-given. Maybe this is part of God's plan for Charlie Kirk. You hate to think that, it's an ungodly, tragic incident. And if we could go back in time and make it not happen, then we would certainly make it not happen. But maybe there's a reason for it. And I'm going to tell you, it's putting the spiritual movement on light speed. I've only lived here about 9-10 weeks in Old Town Alexandria, but I had to stop at every four-way stop for people getting out of church. This Sunday, it was crazy. And this is they've really kicked a hornet's nest, my friend. They have kicked a hornet's nest. They kicked a hornet's nest major. It never makes things smaller. When they killed Jesus Christ, it didn't end his movement. When they killed MLK Jr., it did not kill his movement. It only made it bigger. It only made him legendary. And we are only beginning to see the beginnings of the fire they started. It is going to get so big and overwhelming they will not be able to stand.
Well, and I appreciate, and on a lighter note, I appreciate you bringing up the rapture today. That it might happen today.
Could happen.
I was going to come down. I actually did come down. I'm joking here, but I came down to Alexandria this morning to say hi to you since it was Rapture Day, and I was scared because I saw a pile of sawdust on your chair.
There you go.
And the scary part was I was still here.
Yes. All right, brother. Well, I'm keeping my fingers crossed. I appreciate your phone call. I had a conversation last night with my half-sister. One of the things that happened when I moved to Kansas, it was 10 years of hell, by the way. Lost my brother, lost my mother, found out I was the product of a rape and given up for adoption. But I met a biological family. I was there from when my mother passed and when my mother-in-law passed. So there was a good to it as well. I was able to be close. But I was talking to my half-sister last night. She's a lefty. She's a lib. She's just like, oh, Donald Trump, and all this crap. And I never talk politics. But last night, out of nowhere, she says, do you like Charlie Kirk? I said, yeah. I'm expecting her to go, oh, well, She goes, I think it's a real tragedy that he died. I've been listening to his speaking, and I've been watching his videos since the day he died. I didn't even know he existed. Oh, my God, he was so wise and wonderful, and he was a man of God. I'm like, this isn't happening. See, my niece, who is her daughter, they don't talk much because of politics, because my niece is friends with, Senator Schmidt from Missouri and whatnot. And my half-sis is kind of like, you don't want to talk politics. She'll say, Joe Biden is great, and Donald Trump. She brought up the conversation. What do you think of Charlie Kirk? And she sounded so peaceful. She said, it is a shame that he died. I just discovered him. I started watching his videos. He was so wise. He was so well read about the scriptures. She's a Catholic in good standing, and I thought, wow, just wow. And this is why the harpies from hell who celebrated his demise, they've separated themselves from the rest of humanity in the Democrat Party. And maybe some people in the Democrat Party who recognize good and how bad the party has gotten, that you would celebrate the death of Charlie Kirk. Maybe this is the point where the good people that remain in the Democrat Party can save it, or you create your own movement. It's kind of crazy how these things happen, but something good has happened, and I can tell. Blaine Holt, retired Brigadier General, joins us next on the Rob Carson Show. Don't go anywhere.
Tulsi Gabbard released evidence connecting me to the Russian hoax, corrupt as it could be. Against Donald Trump, I engineered a major coup. Now that I've been found out, not sure what I should do. Tulsi's nailed me to the wall. Looks like I could take a fall. They are coming after me. I might not get off scot-free. Republicans are saying I should not be spared. Now don't tell me I shouldn't be scared. Tulsi knows that others help me in my scheme. Bringing us to justice would be Tulsi's dream. Call me Clapper Brennan too. They were all in on the coup. We got help from Hillary. They are going down with me. Tulsi really nailed me with her recent find. Now don't tell me I'm not in a bind.
Law enforcement isn't to prevent crime. Law enforcement solves crime, not necessarily prevent them from happening.
Buffoon. Jasmine, she is a buffoon. District no longer exists. Out of the Congress real soon. I'll be glad when she's gone from D.C. No, Jasmine, it will be pure bliss. I know that this may not sound PC. That mouth on her I will not miss. Buffoon. Jasmine is a total fake. Her ghetto accent's not real. How much more can we take? Buffoon. She was drawn out of her seat. Will be in Congress no longer. Her leaving will be a treat. We'll clean up the mess. The mess Kamala, she did not address. Open borders, he will abort. And illegals, he will deport. Thomas Homan, he will say no, man. You must go, man. Mexico, man, you're headed back. Thomas Homan, he's a former cop. Border jumpers, Tom is gonna stop. Used to be in charge of ICE. Two illegals, Tom will not be nice. Thomas Homan, they ought to know, man. He's not a showman. Thomas Homan will kick you out.
You better start packing now.
Thomas Homan, he is your foe, man. You've got to go,
So changed. Now they want to go to Sharia law. But you're in a different country. You can't do that. Both the immigration and their suicidal energy ideas will be the death of Western Europe.
Wow.
If something is not done immediately. This cannot be sustained.
Wow.
What makes the world so beautiful is that each country is unique. But to stay this way, every sovereign nation must have the right to control their own borders. You have the right to control your borders, as we do now, and to limit the sheer numbers of migrants entering their countries and paid for by the people of that nation that were there and that built that particular...
Man, he's giving a little what for in the United Nations. And then, oddly enough, his teleprompter went out. Like maybe the United Nations people there didn't want him to deliver his speech, so that didn't stop him.
I don't mind making the speech without a teleprompter because the teleprompter is not working.
Taking the gloves off.
I feel very happy to be up here with you nevertheless, and that way you speak more from the heart. I can only say that whoever's operating this teleprompter is in big trouble.
There you go. You do not want to hear that from the man, Donald Trump. Blaine Holt joins us on the Newsmax hotline. You gave me a little heads up. I haven't been able to watch the UN speech, Donald Trump, today, but he's giving a little what for today, isn't he?
If you watch that speech, I promise you're going to want to watch it again.
Really?
That is the speech of Donald Trump's life so far.
Wow. So I haven't had a chance to see it. What stood out in your mind? What did he project? Because remember when George W. Bush was such a meow in front of the United Nations, and that jackass Chavez was standing up there and said, "I can smell the sulfur." And George Bush, such a little wuss, just a little wuss. But sorry, he's a friggin' wuss. And Donald Trump goes in there with some cojones. And give me an example of what he did, what he took the world to task on.
I'm going to sum it up for you because he got into every nook and cranny of the global problem. But I can sum it up this way. He went and took the fight to the globalist elites in all of their shades of evil, including the UN SDG goals 2030, the World Economic Forum. He basically framed freedom's fight as globalists and elitists versus we the people in an international sense. And people who crave freedom and want to be emancipated. Sovereign nations versus those who think they can choose for us without being elected by us. And it was an inspiring speech. It was hated by nearly every single person in that room.
Perfect!
Which was outstanding. There was no stone left unturned. He went after the Euros, the Middle Eastos, the Chinos, everybody.
Wow. He even said that he would renovate the United Nations complex. He said he would do it for $500 million. Now, I went to the Newsmax Christmas party there, and I kind of would like to see him put the United Nations out of business and make it into condos, because I would get like Eritrea or something. I don't have a big budget, but he even did that too. You know, Blaine, I got to tell you, this is... These things that are happening are very fortuitous, and I said that this was going to begin Donald Trump's election, the turning back of evil that they tried to commit, tried to kill him, the only leader in the world who could have survived what they threw at him. And I said this would begin a worldwide movement toward freedom and faith. And you have this, you had the murder of Charlie Kirk. And that really put the pedal to the metal on the spiritual aspect of it. And then here's Donald Trump today at the United Nations in the lion's den after surviving, being nearly assassinated, taken off the ballot, and put in jail. These are epic times, man. We are at a confluence here, bro. Do you believe that?
Yeah, I do. These are historic days, and I'm so glad you brought up the faith aspect, because the president was very pointed and measured about how he said the honest truth, which can't be said on any apparent TV screen, apparently, except ours at Newsmax, and that is Christians and Christendom are under fire around the world. And, I was struck yesterday as a very good general that I know was interviewing a guy named Julani or Al-Sharar, whatever you want to call him, Al-Qaeda boy.
Yeah.
And that interview was going on at the exact same time they were burning down Christian villages inside of Syria. So for the president to get up today and call balls and strikes and say, this is what right looks like and this is what wrong looks like, and if you don't like my words, I could care less.
Well, we can't win a war. We cannot win a war against a violent horde who would murder in such a fashion as the radical Islam does, certainly with October the 7th and whatnot. We can't win a war by praying our way out of it. And isn't it nice to know that we have a man now who is in charge of a country on this earth, and if we're going to take the fight to those who would try to kill us here on earth, maybe this is the beginning of turning this bull crap around. Because, like I said, we can't pray our way out of this. There's going to have to be a point where we got to fight back, brother. Go ahead.
That's exactly right. I mean, if you go into Scripture, it's very, very clear. And Jesus said it right before the end of his life. He said, I'm not here to unify people. And then he went on to the temple and threw a bunch of tables over into the Pharisees' faces and said, what do you think of me now? And so the point is that Christians are on this planet to love and serve and advance the kingdom. But what won't happen is that they're going to go off into the sunset and not defend themselves.
Yes.
And if you take a look at what Georgia Maloney is now leading in her own country,
yeah.
Milan is a war zone. Milan is absolutely burning on fire, and they're taking the fight to them. What was Georgia's big sin? Oh, she won't toe the line on Palestine, this mythological kingdom. That
we gave them. They had a two-state solution and they blew it. I'm not going to say it again. They had a two-state solution and they freaking blew it.
Yeah,
they handed out candy. They handed out candy on 9/11. Those children who danced around on 9/11 grew up and invaded Israel on October the 7th. They had their shot. And you know what? France, if you want to friggin' have a Palestinian state, then open up the Loire River Valley. Why don't you put it right there? Put them in some of those old castles down there, man. Why the hell not?
Well, so I'm glad you said that, because here's the Europeans doing what the Europeans do, the European leaders, that is, not the Europeans themselves.
Yes.
So we recognize Palestine, but they're not willing to give $1 or 1 ounce of dirt for that endeavor. Oh, wait, it gets better.
Yes.
We need to check Russian aggression. We're going to take the fight to them. Yeah, with whose army?
Yes.
Ours?
Yes.
Sorry,
Yeah.
sell nuts somewhere else. That's the world's #1 nuclear power.
But now,
and the president was like, we're going to stop this right now.
Have you ever in your lifetime seen an American president give it to the New World Order or the world order in general like this?
No. He stuck him like a pig. And you could tell he never went and kissed any rings at Chatham House. He never did that.
Oh, I love it. Oh, my brother. This is glorious. We'll share a little bit more on the other side of the break. A little bit more from the great Brigadier General Blaine Holt.
We're having a great day.
Oh, bro, I'm going to tell you, I don't know if you knew this. They were saying earlier today was supposed to be the rapture. Did you hear about that?
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
I'm all over it.
All right, well,
I'm still here, though.
Me too, bro.
I'm packed. I'm ready to go.
I got to get through security. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. Oh, my God.
Do you have an idea for a book? Fiction, nonfiction, or a children's book?
Including... Unendable wars. They said they were unendable. You're never going to get them solved. Some were going for 31 years. 2 of them, 31, think of it, 31 years. One was 36 years. One was 28 years. I ended 7 wars.
Yeah, he did. He did.
And in all cases, they were raging with countless thousands of people being killed.
Man, there's a lot of silence in that UN chamber with Donald Trump giving the horde a little what for. On the Newsmax hotline is General Blaine Holt, and there was that quote about Mos Eisley in Star Wars. What was it? I saw that quoted this morning as the United Nations. They were like Mos Eisley in Star Wars, a den of whatever. But man, he really did. He took it to him. I love a president. The attempted assassinations, the tribulations that he went through has led to this enlightenment, Blaine, and we're seeing it now on the world stage, and as evil begins to get knocked back on its heels.
This is why they tried to take him down.
I know, bro.
They were trying to prevent this speech today from happening, and they didn't get it done. Another one that when you do get to see the whole speech that you're going to love is when he starts schooling them on the realities of their climate cult crap.
Yes.
And then he starts talking about the renewables, and he goes, imagine that, renewables. You're supposed to make money on energy, people, not lose money, and then you subsidize it with your governments and you go bankrupt. And by the way, if wind propellers were such a big deal that China makes, and then you see the camera angle on the Chinese delegation.
Yes.
China makes all these things, and they sell them to the world. Hey, guess what? They don't even use them themselves. Why? Because they don't work.
Oh,
and
buddy.
all you're doing is destroying the beautiful countrysides of our world, and we're not going to have it in the United States. We're getting rid of them, and it's just garbage. And we're not putting up. And your carbon sequestration nonsense. We're not doing that anymore either. I was like looking for microwave popcorn and cheese or something. Some jalapenos. I was just like, I gotta watch this again.
I'm gonna have to get some Jiffy Pop. I've got one of those old timey popcorn poppers that have the dome on it, and you put the butter in the bottom. Yeah. I'm gonna fire that sucker up and watch this speech tonight.
Healthy for you.
Oh my God! Here is Donald Trump going after the countries that are recognizing Palestine.
This would be a reward for these horrible atrocities, including October 7th. Even while they refuse to release the hostages or accept a ceasefire. Instead of giving to Hamas and giving so much, because they have taken so much, this could have been solved so long ago. But instead of giving in to Hamas's ransom demands, those who want peace should be united with one message. Release the hostages now.
There you go. This is kind of like Trump doing to the world what he did to the United States in 2024.
I believe when we look back on the Trump presidency, we're going to remember 2 speeches. One of them he hasn't given yet. Wow. One speech that we'll always remember is this one here, where he declared war on the global elitists, that we're not big enough in the population to do that. He is. Our billionaire is standing up for us. Wow. And that's the one speech. The one he hasn't given yet, I imagine, will be his farewell speech. But these are the things that we'll look back and go, wow. We were at the brink, and American leadership stopped it.
Well, I use the analogy because we're in a battle of good and evil. We are in a battle of good and evil. We are the reaction to the action of evil. We are. Donald Trump's election is the reaction to the action, and then Charlie Kirk's martyrdom accelerated that. Absolutely 100%. I have no doubt in my mind. Donald Trump, the only leader in world history to stand up after being shot and raise his fist to the heavens and say, fight, fight, fight. You tell me that this isn't a movement toward good. It's ethereal. It is godly. That's it. I'm not saying Donald Trump is, but I'm going to tell you something. You only get to enlightenment through tribulation. Kamala Harris never went through any tribulation. My God, I don't think she's made it through a book.
Well, the Willie Brown thing, was that some tribulation? It might have been a little bit.
Yeah.
We don't need to go there.
Yeah.
The big thing is...
the longest position she ever held was horizontal. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Blaine. Go ahead.
Easy. Yes, I knew you were going there. But the biggest thing is he inspired billions of people on our planet. Those leaders are going home to people who are like, yeah, what Donald said.
Oh.
And he ended the speech with 3 words that I thought were classic.
Yes.
Fight, fight, fight.
Oh, brother.
In other words,
brother.
This is our fight. So that is, I've taught leadership for now 30 years, and I'm just telling you that great leaders will rise to the occasion, will meet the challenge, and will inspire others.
Now we're united. What he just did is he united the world behind us and behind this movement. He did. He did what they did in
tyranny.
He did what we did in World War II. He did it now on the world stage about this I guess I don't even know what to say. This existential evil that's trying to take down the world. He sent a message to the world and to the world's people, to Brits who are proud of being Brits and the French who are proud of being French. Enough is enough. Do like we did. Let's make this go worldwide. Bro, this is bigger. This is on the heels of the assassination of Charlie Kirk. This is such a message passed through the world leaders to their people, brother. Oh my God.
They thought when they struck down Charlie Kirk, they could send us into darkness. They thought turning off a teleprompter of our president today would cause him to forget his lines.
Wow.
Nothing could be further from the truth.
Wow.
We are on the ascendancy, and they are looking at Rico.
Wow. They are going to go after Antifa. I can't wait till Giorgia Meloni starts kicking Antifa's ass in Italy, to be quite honest. I really, because that's coming, by the way. She's not going to take that nonsense. And this was a message to the people of the world, not the leaders of the world. This was a message to the people of the world that we are rising up against this. Oh, my God. This is great. Blaine, thanks for giving me the heads up. I'm going to watch this speech tonight. I tell you, you got a new podcast. I want to mention this real quick. Tell us about that, bro.
Yeah, so I launched yesterday. It's a podcast. It'll be audio only weekly, and it's called Dangerous Intellectuals. And I'm going to pull in from all domains, geopolitics, macroeconomics, art, science, technology, entrepreneurship, but folks who have cast the proverbial mainstream line away, the retail versions. These people not only think outside the box, they don't even know what the box is in the first place.
Wow.
And they call balls and strikes. Our own NEWSMAX Tom Luongo is going to join me for episode 1 next week, or episode 2 next week, and it just gets better from there. We're going to have really great balls and strikes, raw, gritty discussion.
All right, and again, exactly, and again, it's called Dangerous Intellectuals. Dangerous Intellectuals.
You could go to Twitter at Dangerous Thinker. And then you could go to Spotify, and I'll get it up on all the platforms this week. But we're off and running, and so excited about it.
Hey, brother, God bless you. I know that we are here for a reason. I know that these times have happened for a reason, and good is going to come out of it, my friend. I swear we're going to celebrate. We'll have a good cigar when you get to D.C. All right.
We'll have a good day. We're having one today.
I love it. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. Run a little later. Wow, I love it. 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 Wow, I got to find a good song for this. Pardon me, I've got to talk to you guys too. But wow, I mean, I had no idea on this speech. It's just so fun. Not if I'm on an only text message from NEWSMAX on breaking news. I don't know what to tell you. I can say hi to you guys on Facebook. I've got a keyboard right in front of me here. I got a keyboard here, keyboard there, computer there, computer there, computer there, and it's hard for me to address you guys who are online. Let's see. Let's look up. I'm going to look at a Trump song here. Trump song here. Do something positive here. Trump on Antifa. Trump sings. Let me try this. I apologize, guys. I got to focus on this, and I'll have to think about it. Anyway, what do we got here? We got Dookie Bear over there, Round a Pony. You guys checking it out? We're going to talk about Kamala Harris next hour. Dear Lord, what a moron she is. My God. Liberation, Trump under me. Sorry, I'm looking for a song, guys. I apologize. Oh, yes. Let's play this. I got this. All right. Here we go. Now I'm going to talk here. Let me see if I can grab a soundbite from Donald Trump and play it here. Because this is happening for a reason. This is happening. Hit this speech at the United Nations. is happening. They took down his teleprompter. He said, screw it, I'm doing it anyway. He was on the escalator. The escalator stopped. He and his wife had to walk down. Wow. This is happening. This is happening. The things that we thought were going to happen are happening.
Not only is the UN not solving the problems it should, too often, it's actually creating new problems for us to solve. The best example is the number one political issue of our time, the crisis of uncontrolled migration.
Wow.
It's uncontrolled. Your countries are being ruined.
There you go. Donald Trump giving them what for at the United Nations. And the United Nations has been a broken organization for a very long time. They have done nothing at all. In fact, they're corrupt as hell. And now Donald Trump is telling the world's people, you don't need to listen to these a-holes anymore. Take back your sovereignty. End the nonsense. Oh, my goodness, this is pretty darn glorious. I'm not even thinking about Jimmy Kimmel, are you? I didn't think so. This is Jim Gossett as the Prezi.
I made the Democrats look incredibly dumb.
Not very hard to do, by the way.
Inflation is down. The economy's starting to hum.
Just did a hell of a speech in front of the United Nations. Oh, my goodness.
Still, it's a real good bet. The best is yet to come.
Oh, and it's spreading worldwide, baby. Going worldwide.
Best is yet to come since we bombed Iran.
Yeah, we did that. Kicked their butts.
Taking out all their nukes, that was part of the plan.
Yeah, I know. Venezuela's next.
The border's secure.
They did that.
Once again. Illegals are getting in. Doge has saved us billions. This is what it's like
to win. They have a cure for autism.
Best is yet to come, and it's gonna be fine.
Oh, it's gonna be glorious. Worldwide.
Best is yet to come. Hear the Democrats whine.
That's all they can do.
Listen to them whine.
Just gnash their teeth. Awful people.
The last laugh is mine.
You betcha. You betcha. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, it's turning out to be a pretty darn good day. We've got another hour of the show on the other side of this break. Luke Rosiak, Daily Caller, has got a Daily Wire, I should say, an amazing story on the radical trans movement that's arming itself against our government. And maybe this is why Donald Trump made Antifa, declared him a terrorist organization, so we can take them down. How about that?
This is the right choice.
Hi, it's Tony Marino, host of the super popular NEWSMAX Daily Podcast, a rundown of the day's top headlines and top highlights of NEWSMAX shows and interviews you may have missed, plus some sports, stock markets, and even some yucks, all packed into about 20 minutes. Search for the NEWSMAX Daily with me, Tony Marino, on your favorite podcast platform, and check out our entire lineup of great podcasts, including Greg Kelly, Rob Carson, and Jerry Callahan at newsmax.com/listen.
You are about to hear the most interesting, informative, thought-provoking, and funny show in America. On air and on the World Wide Web. This is the Rob Carson Show.
This is the Rob Carson Show. This is hour number 3 today, and Luke Rosiak's going to join us at the bottom of the hour. He is, I've been following Luke Rosiak for a number of years as a journalist, and when he was working, I think it was with the Washington Times, and he did some really amazing stuff. So he's talking about these armed groups of radical transgender. This whole transgender movement was AstroTurf. It was a psyop, and it was all nonsense. And we're beginning to kind of realize what it was all about, and it's meant to be a society disruptor. But Luke's written this piece called "Members of Leninist Transgender Socialist Rifle Association Linked to a String of Violent Attacks in Our Country." Donald Trump declaring Antifa a terrorist organization is going to put an end to a lot of this nonsense, because all of the affiliate groups are going to be taken out. And I'm actually quite glad, because we don't have to kick their asses ourselves. We can let Donald Trump do it. We can let the military do it. We can let the DOJ and the FBI do it. But regardless, we're going to gut the nation of these jerkweeds who've done so much damage to our country, who will go up to police officers and wear masks and threaten them, or spray people in the face with bear mace like Andy Ngo, or burn down cities, or attack courthouses in Portland. You're done, Antifa. Your days are numbered. It's time to get your little rear ends kicked because your mom and dad didn't do it, so we're going to do it now. But anyway, we're going to be talking to Luke Rosiak at the bottom of the hour. Donald Trump just owned it today in the United Nations. Here is the wrap-up of the speech to all the world's leaders who have allowed this globalist nonsense, this open border nonsense, all of the things that have happened in our country in the last 5 years are happening in nations around the country. In England, they're bringing in illegals, giving them free 5-star hotels. They'll hold its same societal disruption nonsense meant to take down the foundations of these countries, like Great Britain, like France, like America. They tried to do it. We want to do, foundationally change the United States, fundamentally change America, which means you don't like its foundation, Barack Obama, you Marxist. But here is the end of the speech.
They charged into thunderous battles, plunged into
He's talking about our ancestors.
Grave dangers, and they were soldiers and farmers and workers and warriors and explorers and patriots. They built towns into cities, tribes into kingdoms, ideas into industries, and small islands into mighty empires.
Oh yeah, Japan. Woo.
You're a part of all of that.
Mm-hmm.
They were champions for their people who never gave up and who never, ever gave in. Their values defined our national identities.
You betcha.
Their visions forged our magnificent destiny. Everybody in this room is a part of it in your own way. Each of us inherits the deeds and the myths, the triumphs, the legacies of our own heroes and founders who so bravely showed us the way. Our ancestors gave everything for homelands that they defended with pride, with sweat, with blood, with life, and with death.
Wow.
Now the righteous task of protecting the nations that they built belongs to each and every one of us. So together let us uphold our sacred duty to our people and to our citizens. Let us protect their borders,
yes,
ensure their safety,
yes,
preserve their cultures,
yes,
treasure, and traditions, and fight for their precious dreams and their cherished freedoms. And in friendship and really a beautiful vision, let us all work together to build a bright, beautiful planet, a planet that we all share, a planet of peace and a world.
Boy, he sounds like a fascist.
That is richer, better, and more beautiful than ever before. That can
totally Nazi. Hitler said the same thing.
Happen. It will happen. It will happen, and I hope it can happen and start right now, right at this moment.
And if it doesn't, get out of our way or we'll run you over. Because honestly, we're kind of tired of your nonsense, to be quite honest. Oh my goodness, this is these are the puzzle pieces, man. This is what I've been talking about. We've been through a lot of stuff. We've been through a lot of stuff for the last 10 years, let alone the last 5. Insanity, censorship of speech, going after people for speech, going after people politically, putting people in jail for protesting an election that was rigged, no doubt about it, 1,000%. A puppet being put in the Oval Office to do things that we would have never voted for, ever voted for a southern border open to our nation's enemies while we were shut down and told we couldn't open our businesses or send our kids to schools. You imagine the awfulness that they did to us in the last 5 years, trying to open your church, telling you couldn't go to church. You couldn't go to church. They told us we couldn't worship. And now the world's going to get a little what for. And these pieces, these puzzle pieces are falling together. They are. Charlie Kirk was assassinated. We can't bring him back. But I believe there was a reason that his message is going to become much bigger and much louder. And then you see the speech today at the United Nations, and you see the world's despots back on their heels going, oh, crap. Listen to him call out the mayor of London, Sadiq Khan, who's ushering Sharia law into the capital of France.
And I have to say, I look at London where you have a terrible mayor, terrible mayor. And it's been so changed. Now they want to go to Sharia law.
Yeah.
But you're in a different country. You can't do that.
Nope.
Both the immigration...
Wow, he's calling out radical Islam.
...and their suicidal energy ideas will...
George Bush, he wanted to understand why they hate us so much. I want to know why they hate us so much. Even though they killed 3,000 of us on 9/11, I want to reach out and understand why they hate us.
The death of Western Europe, if something is not done immediately, they cannot... Wow. This cannot be sustained. What makes the world so beautiful is that each country is unique. But to stay this way, every sovereign nation must have the right to control their own borders. You have the right to control your borders.
Wow, I love it, man. He's schooling him, man. That's just so fun. I love it. Aren't you glad that Kamala Harris didn't become the president, you know? Dear God, geez, Louis. She's got a new book, even though I don't think she's ever read one. Here she is talking about the closest election. 2024 was the closest election this century, which is 25 years old. And she lost both houses of Congress, the popular vote, the Electoral College, and what else? She lost everything.
The sitting vice president enters the race against a former president of the United States who's been running for 10 years with 107 days to go. And it ended up being the closest presidential election in the 21st century. And
okay. No, she lost both houses of Congress. She lost all the battleground states. She lost the popular vote. And yeah. So no, not really. No, not really. It was a blowout. It was a blowout. And it was because she's an idiot. You remember when the day that she said that they said they made her the candidate and nobody had a vote on it? Remember that day? And I laughed. I got on the air and I laughed that day. I don't have the archive in front of me, but I laughed out loud. I said, oh, my God, this is perfect. They think she's going to win. Well, that's fantastic. It's like people thinking that the Democrats are going to kick butt in the midterms. It's like, really? Okay, sure. Keep telling yourself that. Here is Kamala Harris literally denying that she didn't choose Pete Buttigieg as her running mate because he's gay, and then admitting she didn't choose him as her running mate because he's gay.
I guess I'd ask you to just elaborate on that a little bit. It's hard to hear.
Oh, he's talking to Rachel Madcow.
Yeah. With you running as, you're the first woman elected vice president. You're a black woman and a South Asian woman elected.
Depending on, which audience you're talking to.
That high office, very nearly elected president. To say that he couldn't be on the ticket effectively because he was gay is hard to hear.
No. That's not what I said.
No.
That he couldn't be on the ticket because he is gay.
Yeah.
My point, as I write in the book, is that I was clear that in 107 days, in one of the most hotly contested elections for President of the United States, against someone like Donald Trump who knows no floor.
No, he had hundreds of thousands of people, millions of people coming out to see him at events, and you guys were getting your asses handed to you. You tried to put him in jail. You tried to take him off the ballot. Then you tried to murder him. The first time you tried to murder him was right before the RNC convention by design.
to be a black woman running for president of the United States.
You bet.
And as
you never said that before this election.
A vice presidential running mate, a gay man, with the stakes being so high, it made me very sad, but I also realized it would be a real risk.
Okay, there goes. So she said that she did not choose Pete Buttigieg because he was gay, and then admitted that because she's a black woman this month and Pete Buttigieg is gay, that it was too big a risk. What the hell? You just admitted that Democrats are racist, homophobes. That's what you just admitted. You admitted that Democrat voters are racist homophobes, and so you couldn't have a gay guy when you're a black woman because you ever seen bingo when they do the bingo and they have the big thing the cylinder and then they pop open the thing and they reach in. She just reached in and grabbed gay, and then she reached in and grabbed black, and then over here she grabbed Jewish for Josh Shapiro. Couldn't do that because they're anti-Semitic too. Oh my God, it's so good. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show.
Rent free in libs' heads I'm living. The fits I am giving to Whoopi, Sunny, and Joy. Rent free, I'm occupying. Rosie is lying if she says I'm not in her head. Break free, they simply can't do it. When you get down to it, they have TDS real bad. Hey, Red, just watch it as it spreads, because inside their heads I live.
With talent on loan from God, and have my brain tied behind my back, to be fair.
You were the sunshine of our life, Rush. That's why we'll miss you oh so much.
I'm the mayor of Realville here.
You cut down liberals like a knife, Rush.
El Rushball.
Forever you'll be number one.
I am Rush Limbaugh, household name.
America needed a hero
in all four corners of the world.
And then you came to our rescue.
The Limbaugh Institute for Advanced Conservative Studies.
Competition, you had zero. How could so much talent be inside of you?
And don't doubt it.
You were the sunshine of our life, Rush. That's why we listened every day.
That's it. It's not much more complicated than that.
You helped us get through all the strife, Rush. No one will ever take your place, because Rush was the sunshine of our life, of our life.
Meeting and surpassing all audience expectations every day behind this Golden EIB microphone.
Fasten your seatbelt, Deep State. It's gonna be a bumpy ride.
Come on.
It's the Rob Carson Show.
In Western countries and their borders. In 2024, the UN budgeted $372 million in cash assistance to support an estimated 624,000 migrants journeying into the United States. Mm-hmm. Think of that. The UN is supporting people that are illegally coming into the United States.
Wow, he's calling out the United Nations for an invasion into our country.
And then we have to get them out. The UN also provided food, shelter, transportation, and debit cards to illegal aliens. Can you believe that?
Wow.
On the way to infiltrate our southern border. Wow. Millions of people came through that southern border. Just a year ago, millions and millions of people were pouring in, 25 million altogether over the 4 years of the incompetent Biden administration. And now we have it stopped, totally stopped. In fact, they're not even coming anymore because they know they can't get through. But what took place is totally unacceptable. The UN is supposed to stop invasions, not create them and not finance them. In the United States, we reject the idea that mass numbers of people from foreign lands can be permitted to travel halfway around the world, trample our borders, violate our sovereignty, cause unmitigated crime, and deplete our social safety net.
Man, isn't it nice to have a president who has balls? I'm not afraid to say it. I remember when George W. Bush stood there and the jackass from Chavez stood there and, oh, the devil is here, I smell the brimstone. I'm like, you ass. And then George Bush, I don't want to hit back. I don't want to hit back. Honestly, it's so nice. Oh, Lord. This is what America is. Standing up for good and saying, you know what, I'm gonna mince my words here. They even shut down his dang teleprompter. His teleprompter didn't work. So it's like they're trying to silence him. And then also he said something else. Here, listen, this is what happened to Donald Trump, the President of the United States, in the United Nations.
I never even received a phone call from the United Nations. Or I ended 7 wars, dealt with the leaders of each and every one of these countries, and never even received a phone call from the United Nations offering to help in finalizing the deal. All I got from the United Nations was an escalator that on the way up stopped right in the middle. If the First Lady wasn't in great shape, she would have fallen. But she's in great shape.
Wow.
We're both in good shape. We both stood. And then a teleprompter that didn't work. These are the 2 things I got from the United Nations, a bad escalator and a bad teleprompter.
Oh, my God. It's so good. It's so good. It's so good. It's so good. Hang on, baby. This is, nobody said this was going to not be a bumpy ride. And if you've been listening to this show, I told you wouldn't be able to recognize the profundity of November the 5th. It will take years. And he has delivered the speech of a lifetime in front of the United Nations, calling out the corrupt SOBs that have made themselves rich while their people suffered. They have. They have. So glorious. Gold is on a record run. Here is how to invest. I go with Birch Gold. This year, gold bullion. No, not the kind of stuff you put in soup. Gold bullion gained 35% so far this year. It's above $3,600 an ounce. If you would have told me this last year, I would have said, no way. Really? Now I'm a believer. Up almost 50% since last year. And time is fleeting because right now, if you are a first-time buyer with Birch Gold, you can qualify for up to $10,000 in free metals, a rebate up to $10,000. How cool would that be? We've got inflation to deal with. We've got a national debt, but gold has value, and it is showing, it's flexing its muscles right now. If you have an underperforming IRA or 401k, text my name, Rob, to 989898, Rob to 989898 for Birch Gold. Okay, and that is 989898 to Birch Gold, and get it done, because by the end of the month, the 30th, you will not be eligible for that money. Kamala Harris, of course, yesterday, she delivered another one of her word salads in, and the reason being is because she's a moron. She is not a very smart person, and if you don't believe me, listen to her talk. Honestly, just really, really dumb. Here she is. She was talking on a podcast. She was on The View today. Of course, The View, the Heartbeats from Hell, they were dancing around their cauldron. But she was talking to Joe Taka, Edie, I guess, and talking about what she accomplished with her, her face plant of a campaign where she was made the candidate, and they spent $2 billion trying to serve us a crap sandwich, and we said no.
We were all on that campaign together those 107 days, and it was historic.
You didn't debate anybody. You didn't get out at all.
Think about it. We have never, as a country, seen a campaign where the seated president of the United States 3.5 months before the election.
Because you guys couldn't hold the fact he had dementia. Couldn't hold that down, so everybody discovered it during the debate. And so they had to put your sorry butt in there.
Decides not to run. The sitting vice president then enters the race.
Yeah, it was historic. It was historically corrupt, man. I mean, honestly, this is Doug Schoen. He's a Democrat pundit saying that Kamala Harris's book tour is self-immolation.
You agree with that, Doug?
Absolutely. I think she's engaging in self-immolation. I mean, Joe Biden made her the nominee, made her vice president.
No, he didn't.
Stephen
because his brain don't work.
Is right. She couldn't do anything on her own. And she ends up calling Biden reckless for staying in the race.
That's all right. He won't remember it. Here's Stephen A. Smith. Did you know that Joe Biden's writing a memoir? How do you write a memoir when you can't remember anything? I was just thinking about that. Here's Stephen A. Smith on Kamala Harris.
I believe Kamala Harris's political career is over. I think you've seen the last of her with this book.
Yeah.
Politically. I'm quite sure she's a highly intelligent woman, very accomplished. She's a former state attorney, general. She's a former senator. She's a former vice president of the United States, and obviously the Democratic
right to the top
nominee for the presidency of the United States in 2024. But this was the last straw.
Yeah, I think people are done with her. She was a terrible candidate. She's not a smart person. I don't tell you to say because, like I said, listen to her talk. This is Ned Ryan talking about Kamala Harris.
She's coming off as a very low IQ DE hire who knows that her future is really not in being the nominee, so she is going to burn everybody's house down. I mean, I agree with Axelrod. Very, very rarely that I agree with him. Yes. But I don't see any political path forward. No,
she's absolutely cooked. And Democrats right now are absolutely cooked.
I'm looking at this going, it only highlights, again, obviously, she's a talentless hack who's no longer useful to the party, but also highlights how weak and indecisive.
The party is useless, too.
If she was. She's in her book is demonstrating yet again she didn't have the courage or the ability to speak out about Biden's really dementia. Yeah. And then she even admits I didn't pick Pete Buttigieg because he was gay. Yeah. I mean, she just comes off as weak and indecisive, complete inability to actually be in a position.
I can't wait to see the book sales because the only people who are going to buy it are the people, maybe friends and relatives, I suppose. Any sort of, maybe the publisher itself buying the books to make it look like more people are buying books. Nobody wants to read it because she's such a failure. She can say it was a close race and all that, but she lost both houses in the Electoral College and the battleground states. Luke Rosiak joins us next on the Rob Carson Show. Don't go anywhere.
Jail Jim Comey soon for his terroristic post. Comey in the slammer is what we want to see the most. In other words, lock him up. In other words, incarcerate him. Assassination threat should put Comey in the pen. Make sure that this loser won't see freedom once again. In other words, jail him today. In other words, make Jim Comey pay.
Well, I'm gonna pay a visit. I'm headed to the Everglades. Gonna see a brand new prison for folks arrested in ICE raids. I hear it's already getting all kinds of accolades. Alligator Alcatraz, it's where illegals will be kept. We're cracking down, unlike Biden, who was totally inept. It is something that the liberals in Florida cannot accept. California Alcatraz, I want to open that one too. Just imagine the hard time that real criminals will do. Alligator Alcatraz, I'm gonna take a tour of you.
CBM, Baltimore.
Agitators.
Who are they?
Well,
and where's the money coming from? Is it foreign entities?
Yeah, you're going to find out, and we're going to find out in great detail. And it surprised me that Biden wouldn't have done it, because it really became hot over the last 3-4 years. It surprised me that Biden wouldn't do it, but then as I got to know him, first of all, he didn't call the shots. He wasn't calling the shots. But as we got to see what was happening in Biden's group, Antifa plays perfectly for them, absolutely perfectly. But it's a terrorist organization, in my opinion, and we're going to find out. All those questions are going to be answered.
Yeah, and by not banning or pursuing these groups as they burned their way across the United States, they were allowed to grow. They were able to cause damage, commit attacks, and now we find out that some of these leftist groups, these Leninist, Marxist groups were creating an army, an armed army. Luke Rosiak, one of the best investigative journalists I've ever known, joins us on the Newsmax hotline. He works for the Daily Wire now, among other places. Luke, how you doing today, man?
I'm good, Rob. How you doing?
Oh, buddy, you know what? You're a rock star. You and John Solomon and Matt Taibbi and Mike Schellenberger. I've been following you for now like 15 years, and you're just owning it, man. I got to tell you, you got this new piece, Members of Leninist, Transgenderist, Socialist Rifle Association, linked to a string of violent attacks. So, we all know now that the radical transgender movement was essentially a psyop. It came along with the white supremacy is covering the country. There's nothing organic about it. And they're actually becoming quite dangerous. Why don't you tell us what you discovered about these organizations that lean into transgenderism and Leninism?
Yeah, it really is shocking how much extreme political violence is tied to transgenders, especially because of how few of them there are. The Socialist Rifle Association apparently has over 10,000 what they call comrades.
Yes,
this
of course.
Just started in 2019, but they've got chapters in every state of the country, and they basically do what looks like war games. They run through the woods, sprinting and jumping over obstacles and shooting long-range targets, stockpiling all kinds of weapons, and they've been tied to at least 4 crimes of political violence. If you remember, a couple months ago, the ICE facility in Alvarado, Texas, was attacked by a dozen people, many of them transgender, and a police officer was shot in the neck. That was a Socialist Rifle Association member. A couple of the Tesla bombings that were taking place, including one on the inauguration day of President Trump, tied to Socialist Rifle Association members. And there was a guy that actually fought with a foreign terrorist group and then came home and said he would pay people to identify January 6th protesters so that he could deal with them outside of the police. And he said, stab your local Nazi, hospitalize your local fascist.
Yeah, we're Nazis and fascists. This is all a gigantic movement. These are the talking points of Charlie Kirk's assassin. These are the talking points of the transgender shooter at the Catholic school in Minnesota a few weeks ago. This is a seditionist movement in our country, and that now we know it's armed, and it's armed en masse. Go ahead and continue.
It's definitely armed. The Socialist Rifle Association did a survey that said that a third of its members were anarchists, a third of them were Marxist-Leninists or Maoists, and the final third was LGBTQ. But it's strongly transgender. It was founded by a transgender person who goes by she/it. And its next president is a man who went by the name Kilashandra Killips. So, on one hand, you could say the Socialist Rifle Association is maybe like a counterpart to the NRA, but they definitely use violent rhetoric that suggests going on the offensive. I mean, they would say that they're defending themselves, but the problem is, as you alluded to, when you're talking about transgender ideology, they say, well, we're just against fascists, but then they define everybody to be a fascist.
Yes.
And they say, well, we're not trying to start a war, but we would just fight back. But then they define words as violence. So they could say that anything was an assault or an attack on them, and then they're just defending themselves by initiating actual violence.
They did that with conservative speakers on campus in the early aughts, maybe even the 90s. They declared conservative speech to be a weapon, to be something that could be as violence. This is I'm quite familiar. I've been following this for a very long time, from its infancy in the early 90s, late 80s, and it's only gotten worse. This SRA group you're talking about, the Socialist Rifle Association, spread disinformation, to label Charlie Kirk as a threat, falsely claiming years ago Charlie Kirk, CEO of Turning Point, is openly calling for the lynching of transgender individuals. After Kirk was assassinated, SRA members mocked him, expressed enthusiasm, wished that the man who shot President Donald Trump had similar marksmanship. You report that in your article as well.
Yeah, and I mean the rhetoric is extreme. They had a Utah chapter. Obviously, I was wondering, the Charlie Kirk's assassin was dating a transgender person. Was he involved in this group? The group says he was not, but that Utah chapter it holds queer-friendly firearms education. It asks members to support an anti-racist accused of murder, a different guy. And it says, "I will die fighting for this cause."
Yes.
The Maryland group is having in addition to their queer range days and POC range days, it's having an Arab folks day where the poster shows people that literally are dressed up like Osama bin Laden and Hamas terrorists with like AK-47s. I mean, these aren't your neighborhood African immigrant. These are like it's the level of violence. And when you think back to even people who aren't members of these crazy groups, we were always told that transgender people would kill themselves if we didn't do everything they asked us to do. The whole movement is
suicidal,
infused with hyperbolic rhetoric and the threat of deadly violence against themselves or others.
But they also, this group, the transgendered, are more prone to suicide, meaning that they don't value life as much, and we would be willing to die in a violent fashion. The same goes with Hamas members. It's the same kind of brainwashing. I've said this before. There are a lot of similarities between what's going on with radical Islam, with Antifa. They are very, very similar. They use the same language. And now it's this transgender movement, and clearly they have taken advantage of a group of people, convinced them that they could be something they're not. When they get to that point, they discover they can't be, and now they hate themselves even more. So I think they're useful idiots for the cause.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. I mean, it's suicide bombing, and if you're going to take yourself out, you might as well take a bunch of people with you. That's what we see with people like the Minneapolis school shooter.
Yes.
There's a documentary online with the Maryland chapter of the Socialist Rifle Association.
Yes.
The treasurer describes himself as a non-binary trans femme commie gun owner who likes video games.
Oh, dear God.
So a lot of similarities, again, with the shooter of Charlie Kirk. I mean, these are isolated and radicalized people who feel depressed and feel like the whole world is oppressing them, and they're lashing out, and now they're stockpiling guns.
That's who they look for. We're talking to Luke Rosiak. Luke, can you hold on after the break? I want to ask you, what do you think about Donald Trump declaring Antifa a terrorist group, and what that's going to do to groups like this? If you would stick around, I'd really appreciate it. Let's take a break and come back. This is The Rob Carson Show.
Right now we are dealing with, as I called him at my speech on the ellipse, a tyrant. We used to compare the strength of our democracy to communist dictators. That's what we're dealing with right now in Donald Trump.
Yeah, there you go. So he's a communist dictator. He's a fascist. He's Hitler. They have now we have a body count. Now we have shell casings with those words inscribed on them, and this is deliberate. This is deliberate, and payback is coming. Payback is coming. Joining us on the Newsmax hotline, Luke Rosiak, works for Daily Wire as a brilliant journalist, and he's talking about the transgender Marxist-Leninists, like the Socialist Rifle Association. They now have a string of attacks against them. By them in this country, and Donald Trump is making a move to end this nonsense, naming Antifa, among others, a terrorist organization. These groups are tied together in many ways. Antifa and the Socialist Rifle Association. Would you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's overlap. There's hopefully not that many of these anarchists and communists in the country, and they oftentimes join more than one group. Yeah. The left often says that Antifa doesn't exist because I imagine they're looking for some sort of corporate entity or membership cards, which is a little silly. But the Socialist Rifle Association actually does give out membership cards with Karl Marx's face on them. And it was incorporated as a nonprofit, although they failed to do their filings and got their status revoked. So, yeah, I mean, political violence is the kind of thing that if you don't nip it in the bud, it spreads. And so the declaration that Antifa is going to be considered a terrorist group, I think, is very important, especially when you look at how the local courts in places like Seattle and Portland have treated some of these attacks, which is very leniently.
Yeah, this is Chuck Todd, and this is the attack of the Democrat Party, and it's insane. They're saying after Antifa, attacked thousands of locations the last 10 years, including the Seattle or the Portland courthouse for months. Antifa, everybody knows. They're saying that Antifa doesn't exist.
I don't think there's any the problem. Like, I don't even know what Antifa is. I know what the definition of Antifa is, and I know
what the word means, but it's not
correct.
A group.
There is no group.
Oh dear God, really, Luke? That's what they're doing. They know what QAnon is, even though we have no clue because it doesn't exist. But when you see them in a uniform, infiltrating January the 6th, infiltrating America's cities, attacking courthouses, and this is their response, they don't exist.
Yeah, I mean, they firebombed the courthouse. They set up an autonomous area, which is really sort of an insurrection in Seattle, or Chaz or whatever. Poor Andy Ngo, the fearless journalist who's been documenting these people on camera for years. He got brain damage from being attacked by them. They often attack journalists. And then I think that one of the guys was charged with something finally, and they threatened witnesses outside the courthouse. It's totally the kind of thing that just can't be tolerated in any lawful society.
You mentioned that this Daniel Allen Barker was sentenced to 44 months in prison for threats made in 2021, and you said he was offering cast information for January the 6th. But listen to some of these, the rhetoric, and this is spread throughout all of these organizations. And again, now we're seeing this language on the shell casings and then the manifestos of mass killers. Baker has made multiple threats to those he claims are white supremacists. Remember when Joe Biden said that white supremacy was the biggest threat to America, even though it wasn't? Fascists, among others. Again, this isn't a war of words, Luke, and I made this point the other day. They're using words of war. They're using words of war to get that. And they're trying to deny accountability. They call Donald Trump a fascist. They call Charlie Kirk a fascist. They shoot him. They killed Charlie Kirk. They tried to kill Donald Trump. They're using the same words, fascist. And then the Democrat Party can say, oh, we had nothing to do with that. We had nothing to do with that. They're using these words deliberately, Luke. These are words of war. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, they're calling people fascists when they know that there's a group of very unstable, very depressed, basically freaks on the margin of society who join groups like they cut off their genitals and join groups like the Socialist Rifle Association, and when they hear words like that, they're looking for an excuse. They're basically LARPing. They want to be in this interesting, they want to be in a war, and you're telling them, okay, now you're the reason you're depressed is because you are in fact being oppressed by this horrible Western civilization.
Yeah, it's all a psyop, a very dangerous psyop, and hopefully this declaration of Antifa as a terrorist organization, with its tentacles running throughout, this will take this down. It's time for the children to get a spanking. Daddy got home in November. Luke, great to talk to you about this piece. Members of Leninist Transgender Socialist Rival Association linked to a string of violent attacks. One of the many great works you have on the Daily Wire. Where can people find all of your social media presence, etc.?
DailyWire.com or on X at Luke Rosiak.
All right, man. Great work. Great to be living in the same town with you. Hopefully we'll get you over here into the new studio and we'll get it set up. Do a very long video podcast. How's that sound?
I'd love that. Welcome back, Rob.
All right, bro. Appreciate it. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. I remember Luke, when I was working in Washington, D.C., I was fired from the radio station I was at in 2013. And I was moving down the hall to start doing talk radio on WMAL. And Luke Rosiak was somebody I had on, and he did this brilliant piece about nepotism in the metro system in the D.C. metros. A lot of nepotism, a lot of racism, very corrupt organization at the time. Not sure if it's gotten any better. But it was, and he did some brilliant work. Brilliant work. Hey, we're still on the YouTube. My God in heaven, it's amazing. Hello. Somebody said, Lauren said, in the last 4 years, expected groceries and utility prices are soaring. Each jobs report gets worse. Republicans have a majority in the three branches of government. Help. Lauren, where were you? I lived in flyover country. Okay, at the beginning of Joe Biden's presidency, I was selling cars, and I watched everything go up dramatically. The price of groceries go up 50%. The price of homes double. The interest rates triple, and you didn't give a rat's behind. Things are under control and going down, and interest rates are going down. I don't want to hear anybody B-wording about whatever inflation that is not happening in the Trump administration. Honestly, it's look over on Twitter. Trump is a national disgrace is trending. It's because all of these bots, these people who just flood social media to push a hashtagger out there, and they do it when Donald Trump kicks some ass, and he just did in front of the United Nations. So honestly, please, so stupid, just so stupid. What are we going to talk about here? What do I got here? Rachel, good, pretty man. Got a pretty good show today. What we got here? Executive order, Antifa, conduct, word salad, I already did that. Keir Starmer. All right, here we go. It is the Rob Carson Show. We are on all sorts of platforms, man. It's pretty cool. We're over the air on great radio stations around the country. I'm going to be broadcasting from a place called Wheels and Wings or Wings and Wheels near Rehoboth at the airport there on October the 4th. It's like 15 miles from Rehoboth. It's a big deal. A lot of classic cars there. I'm going to polish up Buck, my Bronco, and head out there. And I'm going to be selling T-shirts. I bought T-shirts and I'm going to be selling them, but I'm going to give them to most places. You go like to a concert, they're like $50 and all of this. I have Don't Catch the Stupid T-shirts, and I'm going to sell them for $10. I could charge more. I'm just covering my costs. So we're going to have that. But I'm going to be out there 10 to 4 on 10 to 2 on the air, WGMD Radio, one of our great, glorious affiliate stations in Rehoboth. And it's at the airport. And just you can go to WGMD.com. You can look up Wings and Wheels. But I'm going to get out. I'm starting to do a lot more appearances out here. I'm going to be pressed in flesh, meeting a lot of people. Man, I'll tell you what. You know, I knew things would excel when I moved to Washington, D.C., but man, they really are. I know that there's a reason why I'm here. I really do, guys. And it took me everything from the depths of my soul to say I'm going to leave my family after 25 years, and I'm going to move to Washington, D.C. I'm no longer going to be a dad in the cul-de-sac neighborhood with tools and a riding lawnmower. I'm going to live in an apartment in Washington, D.C., and I'm going to talk to the people who run this city. I'm going to get to know them. I'm going to bring you with me. And things are, guys, my social media is blowing the hell up. And it's because people are discovering the show. A lot of people don't know who I am. I'm a fresh voice in talk radio, for God's sake. Even though I'm, 59 years old. I'm a fresh voice in talk radio. And I'm the only guy in Washington, D.C. doing comedy. The only guy in Washington, D.C. doing comedy. And so we're doing a little bit of Rush Limbaugh meets late night. I've always said my show is kind of like somewhere between Jon Stewart and Rush Limbaugh. Meaning the comedy, but the conservative. And it's resonating. It's resonating. But today we're on Newsmax Facebook, Rumble, YouTube, Twitter, what else? Instagram. That's where we're on. We got our own network going here with Newsmax. And I'm going to tell you right now, respect Newsmax and Chris Ruddy. Chris Ruddy is an amazing man. And please, if you get a chance to, watch Newsmax, because I'm going to tell you what, you got a lineup on Newsmax that kicks everybody's butt. Carl Higbee, Rob Finnerty, Rob Schmidt, Greta Von Susteren, you've got all these people. You got Greg Kelly. You got Chris Plant. There's no network like it, and they are unfiltered and unabashed, and they're conservative. And Chris Ruddy sat 2 seats down from Donald Trump at the dinner with the king in England the other day. So he's a big deal. And you know what? This movement's spreading around the world. Newsmax had a big part to do with it. Really did. It really did. And I got to tell you, I am feeling more patriotic and more inspired by God than I think I've ever in my life. And there's a reason why we've come together. And we're going to take this world by storm, and we're going to take it back for good. And we're going to avenge Charlie Kirk with good. We are. We've been through a lot of pain. We've been through a lot of suffering, but the light is right there. We got to keep fighting for it. All right, that's going to do it for the show. Check out the podcast if you would. Go to your usual podcast platforms. Look up the Rob Carson Show, including Spotify, of course. In the meantime, God bless you guys. God bless Donald Trump. America is founded. Charlie Kirk and his family. And until tomorrow, which is Wednesday, don't catch the stupid. I'll see you then.
See you, Rob.
All right, see you. Bye.
Information. Truth is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.